My bike is finally ready, detailed, cleaned, greased, every part of it, including the drivetrain, and I'm just showing you this video as to how this is done. If you click below, go to my shopping page, I have this section which I titled Chemicals and Lubricants. Well, let's go in here. So I used almost everything on this page. This is the big thing. This carnauba wax is made for cars, but I've been using it on my cars but also on my bicycles, and it gives such a deep shine and a lot of oils that need to go into the clear coat. If you have clear coat, you have to use this. I do this twice a year when we go from the warm riding season to the winter, and when we are coming back. I should add that I do ride in winter. I ride year round. This is another product I used. This is only if you have a metal plated frame or some components like chrome. You can use it on chrome. For most people, I think the S100 is just going to be fine. But if you want to polish the metal, then the wax is not going to do anything. If you have a Brompton lacquer, for example, that's a clear coat. It looks like exposed metal, but it's not. It has clear coat on top of the metal, so you have to use this. And by the way, if you never wax your bike, if you never properly clean and wax it at least a couple of times a year, eventually the clear coat is going to dry out and it's going to become brittle and ugly, and you're never going to be able to bring back the original shine. As for the drivetrain, I do everything inside in my apartment, but I do the drivetrain outside because it's dirty stuff. At first I blast it with this WD-40, which you probably already have at home, and everybody should have it at home. And then I wipe it with a clean cotton cloth. Nothing synthetic. I don't want it to scratch. It has to be something natural, typically cotton. And I wipe it as dry as I can because this is not a lubricant. Many people think it is. It's not. It's a cleaner. And then I apply a real lubricant. This is just one of your options. I mean, you can go to Amazon and find many of them. This is for the screws to hold the front luggage element to the frame securely. I did not use this one. I have aquarium silicone, which I believe is even better. I'm not recommending it because this is supposed to be the industry standard, but aquarium silicone is an amazing, incredible material that is not only securing the screws so that they wouldn't shake out, and so that bag holding element would not fall off and the screws would not break like they broke in my case a couple of years ago. But also it buffers the vibrations in general, so it removes stress from the screws. And this Loctite is good enough, but I think aquarium silicone is the very best of it. So I'll show you what the bike looks like. Just a quick video on my newly winterized Brompton. The Brompton Interceptor. I took off the seat and I totally detailed everything. The chain needs to be done outside, which I shall do this afternoon, but otherwise everything is done. And you see how buffed it is. This is the nickel-plated Brompton, which to my knowledge is not even made anymore. So this bike may have some collector value to it. And I had to disconnect everything. And you see this valve at the bottom. This one I added this year. It makes inflation so much easier. When you have a big electric hub like I have, it makes a huge difference to have that valve extension. And then this was an issue when I published the video on the biggest flaw of the Brompton. I periodically remove the cover to see if the new screws are in, but aquarium silicone did its magic. It's not only holding the screws from coming out, it dampens vibrations. So it limits the need for the screws to shake and vibrate and gradually to come out. This tire is now 2 years old. It is the fattest tire you can add onto the Brompton. And the current designs are, I believe, even different. It doesn't even have the reflective color anymore. So this is an old version of the Scorcher, the Greenspeed Scorcher tire. And I had a flat on the Scorcher in the rear. And then I spent the whole afternoon fixing it. And then I had another flat. And the reason I had the other flat was because of this tire liner I placed in the Scorcher tire. And I'm going to show you what the tire liner is like. This is the tire liner I used. It's called Rhino. It's something I picked up at the local bike store. I did not do any internet research. The edges are sharp even if you don't cut it, but you have to cut it because most of the small wheel tire liners are made for 20-inch wheels, which makes sense. So you have to trim it. And when you put it together, these sharp edges, even under low pressure, like 40-50 psi, are going to slice the inner tube. So what I did was, this time around, I put some electric tape on the outside of it. In fact, several layers. So I would be shocked. I would be shocked if this did not work. But that is always possible. So what I did now, I have the Scorcher in the front, and I put a new tire liner in it just now, and that is yet to be tested. I used the electric tape to make sure that the liner would not slice up the inner tube. As far as the rear is concerned, I went back to Schwalbe because I just needed a secure tire on the quick. I didn't have time to order anything, so I just went into the local tire shop. Obviously, this Schwalbe Marathon, even the cheaper version, this is the $30 cheaper Marathon, is invincible. I've never had a flat with any of them, but of course it does not have the comfort or the road feel that you get from the Scorcher tire. Otherwise, everything is as it has been. I have been thinking about putting back the mud guards, but decided not to do that, because if you only ride for fun and you deliberately pick completely dry days, you may not have a problem with that. And I just hate to worry about an additional piece of equipment. And also I have the controller mounted in the front, and then the mud guard would be added to that, which I do not like. Finally, I think the bike just looks better without the mud guards, to be honest. This is indoors and without the seat and the seat post and the front bag. The front bag is going to go back with the battery, and the Interceptor shall be ready to go. So this is all I have to say for this short video, just showing you what I accomplished with several hours of wiping and buffing. I actually used a professional car wax on the black part, the painted parts, and that's why they shine so beautifully. Paint job is not nearly as good as it would be on a higher end Birdie, let alone on an Alex Moulton, which have the most beautiful paint jobs, but it looks pretty good. And I used a metal polish on this nickel, which is pretty nice. The nickel is the nicest part of the bicycle. And I also used a bunch of clean cotton rags, old t-shirts for the most part, to achieve this effect. This kind of quick detailing just on the nickel I actually do almost every week. But the big detailing, like to detail the whole bicycle, I only do that twice a year when we switch seasons, go from warm to cold season and coming back. I have a separate video on how I do the full detail, so you can watch that video if you want more information on that. Just a few last words on the tire I have on my front, which is the 1.5 with the Greenspeed Scorcher tire. I have it listed on my site. You go here. I have a bunch of other tires I am listing. All of these are good tires that you might want to look at. But the Scorcher is the one I like the most. As you can see, it's not a cheap tire. This is a new version, different from the one I have. They removed that reflective tire wall, which I really liked actually. And they have made it lighter, but also even less secure. This is no match to the Schwalbe Marathon. This is not a touring tire, even though I do use it for a regular short distance tourings. I would say like a day trip or something like that, 60, 70 miles in going off-road even. So that's why I put in a tire liner, because I absolutely love this tire. The low pressure, only 40 psi minimum, the way it feels, the contact of the road, the security you have from having a no-tread tire, at least on paved roads when you have a dry day. It's not good for the rain. It's terrible, actually. I have used it in drizzle. It sort of works, but you don't want to go fast if it's wet at all, not even after the rain. So it's not for everybody, but I think it's a super cool tire, and you have to be really careful to make sure you get the right one. You need to get the one that's 349 millimeters and for 16-inch wheels. That's going to fit the Brompton, and it's going to fit the Hummingbird as well, which has the same crazy wheel size as the Brompton. Okay, this is it for detailing and preparing for the winter. I think I'm going to ride through the winter with this tire, with the tire liner in it. If I get a flat, I'll let you know, but I wouldn't bet on it. I'll see you in the next video. Keep following the channel.